Alright, next up we got Zahir, though. Zahir is a great villain. Great Legend of Korra villain. He does teeter a little bit on the G status. Mainly because of that moment where he killed the Earth Queen. I was like, whoa. Like, that was pretty dark for a kid show. Like, that was the craziest airbending I've seen. I never even, that thought never even crossed my mind with airbending. He literally, like, you think people take people's breath away in real life? Nah, he takes it to a new level. he took the Earth Queen's breath away, dog. But yeah, one of the only big things I didn't like with this character was how easily he was able to master airbending. Cause here's the thing, um, like in season three, the whole conflict and dilemma with that season, it was like a direct result of the stuff that was going on in season two, where the spiritual world was colliding with the real world. And so the result in season three was that all these people who previously were not benders at all, they suddenly were able to airbend out of nowhere, and that was a huge dilemma and conflict with season three. And Zahir was one of those people who could randomly airbend, but coincidentally, he was a character who was very fascinated with airbending and the airbending and the airbenders culture. But see, he was also like a radical type of person. Like he was an anarchist, and so I forgot what it was. But he did some stuff that got him in jail. So he was a villain before he got the airbending. So he was in jail, and then when that thing happened where everybody got airbending out of nowhere, he was one of them, and yeah, he immediately was just able to escape jail, because he was already a master at airbending. I guess in the show's justification was just because he was studying airbending his whole life or whatever, and it's I don't know, studying it and observing it is totally different in my opinion from actually using it and mastering it that way, so yeah, that really stretched my suspension of disbelief in my opinion when he was just able to just instantly do a jailbreak just like that. So yeah, that was just one thing I didn't really like about his character. And yeah, that whole thing with him being a master of airbending, just like that, it also extends to the fact that in his final fight, he literally can just fly. He doesn't even need a glider like Aang did. No, this guy is just so cool he can fly. But nah, I mean I still think he was a great villain though, because I liked his anarchist goal. I liked the fact that he had his own posse of villains. He was just a really cool villain in my opinion. Definitely my favorite villain of Korra. Uh, I mean he has the best season too. Overall, I think season three of Korra is the best, and he really adds to that in my opinion. So Zahir, first great villain we've got here, first one. Alright, so next up we've got Kuvira. Kuvira, I'd say she's good. She's a good villain. Not as good as Zahir. Maybe, probably a little better than Amon, honestly. Well, I think I like Amon's goal better than Kuvira's. But, Kuvira, I think she's, how do I put it? I guess I think she's more entertaining as a villain, maybe. Amon is more intimidating because that mask. I don't know, something. It's his mask as well as his voice acting that makes him really intimidating. Kuvira though, I mean she's intimidating too because it was actually really cool when she was threatening where is he this dude Varric, that's his name. I can't believe I almost forgot his name. She was threatening Varric. She had him in like a chokehold, like almost a forced chokehold, because she was using metal bending. Like she had like a metal collar around his neck, like, and she had him like over like a, because they were on a train, and she had him over the train tracks, like threatening to just like drop him, and that was like pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, she was a cool villain. Although the whole thing she was doing, like with, because I'm pretty sure this was the season where like giant attack robots were introduced, and yeah, that I was mentioning that in my Battle of the Goats tier list where I was talking about the Legend of Korra. That was part of what I felt like really like sapped away some of the magic the Legend of Korra could have had, because they had like ridiculous stuff like that going on in the show that, like, I don't know, it kind of just didn't feel very like Avatar-esque. Like, like what are we doing with a huge like attack robot in this show? Like that's just kind of weird to me. But nah, I still think she was a decent villain. Although her, like, it was weird. Like, her foreshadowing as a villain in season 3 was just weird. Like, she was, like, very just, like, randomly thrown in there. And, like, yeah, she didn't have a lot of, like, build up at all to being a villain. But, you know, season 4, did what they could to make her a pretty decent villain. You know, she probably could have used more build up, but you know, it's whatever. She was a good villain overall, from what I remember. All right, next up we got Appa. Appa, I will put Appa in great category. I wouldn't say he was a G. Man, I kind of do want to. I kind of do want to put Appa in G category because I love Appa. Appa is a great character. You know, just, you know, I love, like, I always, even as a kid, I always like loved seeing Appa. He reminds me a lot of like Miyazaki art style. You know, I just love how he's like literally just a giant float flying bison. Like that's like really cool. I actually just love in general how each like nation in the Avatar series has their own like animals that have the bending, you know, like the Earth Kingdom they had the moles. The Fire Nation they had dragons, and pretty sure the Water Tribe had you know, the serpents. So I always thought that was like really creative and unique. Yeah, Appa is really cool. You know, such a sad episode. I think it was called Appa's Lost Days. Such a sad episode, man. Like, because I think I vaguely remember seeing that episode as a kid, and like even like seeing the way that episode ends. I was just like, what? You know, like poor Appa in that episode. You know, like you really feel for this guy in that episode, and then like and honestly, because when you watch that episode like randomly and completely without context, like you would probably think the show is like garbage, just because of how it ends. But no. When you watch it with context and you know, you're watching it from the beginning, like, you know, that's a pretty like bold way to end your episode, you know. And plus, also, you know, you know the gang is gonna find Appa anyway and free him anyway. So you know, it's not all for naught, you know. But anyway, Appa, great character. I love Appa. You know, if I watched the show as a kid, he would be like in my childhood memories for sure. Like, I mean, he already kind of is because I've been familiar with the show since a kid. But yeah, Appa, great character, great. This chick, I think her name is like Hanma or something like that. Hana, I can't remember. But this is the bloodbending chick. She's nuts. I'll say she's a good character. Not great, just a good character. I mean, she introduces like one of the like darkest concepts in both Korra and the Last Airbender. And if it weren't for her, Katara would have never learned it. But, which, I guess Katara, like, I guess she didn't really use bloodbending, like that much, but still, it was, like, when she did use it, like, it was like, whoa, like, that was a pretty big moment. Well, outside the episode that she's introduced in, anyway. But, yeah, Crazy Lady, probably the creepiest, episode in both shows. Yeah, just a really, really creepy episode because of her. And she, like I said, she introduces a really cool concept too. So I'll put her in good category just for that. Alright, next up we've got the other Beifong sister. Yeah, I'll just say she's boring. I don't remember her being as interesting as her sister. Don't remember much at all about her. I just remember she was the nice one, so I guess I wasn't like particularly irritated by her. Not like this guy for sure. So yeah, just boring. But since we're on the topic of irritating, yeah, we've got her, and she is Dumbo. I do not like this character. Do not like her at all. Don't like what she represents. This character represents the worst part of gender roles, in my opinion. Because yeah, you know what? Her relationship with Bolin. That would not be so funny if she was a guy and Bolin was a girl. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, I did not like that. Did not really sit right with me. Like I'm not like super butthurt by that type of thing, but like still, like I just always had that thought in the back of my head, like, what if she was a guy and Bolin was a girl? Would this be like, an acceptable type of humor? Like, because their whole relationship was her just like being abusive to him and making him do things that he didn't want to do. And then when he tried to break it off with her, like she like went nuts and like he literally had to like hide from her, like it's like I don't know, stuff like that is just I hope we put that type of humor in the past at this point, like because like it just wasn't funny. Like the whole joke was just that she was like, I guess Bolin is a wimp, and she's just being abusive. Like that was like the whole joke, I guess. And it was just like that. That's just lame, very lame. All right, next up we've got her twin brother. And, I mean, he didn't really have a lot of screen time for me to have a real opinion on him. He's just boring. The only reason why I would put him in Dumbo category is just through association with her. But yeah, he doesn't really have a whole lot of significance in the show, so just boring. All right, now we've got Katara. Katara's an OG. Katara. Katara. Cause see, when Katara's at her peak, she is like really, 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 really cool. But she can. Cause people, I think she's overhated. Like a lot of people like hate Katara too much, in my opinion. I'm kind of like cause I do like Katara, but like the thing with Katara is that like she definitely lost a lot of points when Sokka was just like when she was on her rage episode where like she wanted to find the guy who killed her mother, and then Sokka was just like, dude, she was my mom too, and then Katara's just like, well, you didn't love her as much as I did, and that was like pretty ridiculous, and I can't remember if she ever apologized to him in that episode, because that was just cold. Like, that was way too harsh, way too harsh. Because it's like, dude, Sokka knew your mom more than you did. Like, by the way, Well, he knew her longer than she did, I should say. And it's like, but really, though, I don't want to pit it like too much against her. I'll just say for now she's, man, I'll say she's great because yeah, I mean, she did have some really like awesome moments. Like that episode, even though I just talked bad about her in the Southern Raiders episode, still Southern Raiders was like easily one of the best episodes in the show. That was a really great episode showing how, revenge is not always the answer, Because, Katara, she had that guy, like, on his knees, like, his life was literally hers for the taking in that episode, and she decided not to do it. And, like, that whole episode, besides that one moment with Sokka, and I guess just the overall, hatred, and just, like, her drive to avenge her mother, like, I guess they leaned into that, like, maybe a little too much, but still, like, the Southern Raiders was just still a fantastic episode. Uh, let's see, what else? Oh, yeah, people really didn't like her because of how she was treating Zuko when he, finally joined the party. Yeah, people said she was too harsh to him. Maybe. I mean, I guess it did. Since she was making that rift in the party because of that, because she had that, like, vendetta against him, I guess it did make her a little more annoying. So, like, I could see, like, parts of me understands why people hate her, but I think that's just way too harsh to, like, hate her just for that stuff. I still really like seeing her like fight scenes. I like because she gets like creative with her water bending. That's what I really like about Katara. Like the way she beats Azula was awesome. I loved the way she beat Azula. That was really creative, and it's like really cool seeing her work her way through like fights and. Oh, that one episode where I think it was her and Toph that were like trapped in they were trapped in some kind of like cell, and it was getting really hot in the cell, and so Katara, she starts sweating, and when she wipes the sweat off her forehead, she like looks at it and gets the idea to jog in place and starts like sweating more to use that like to water bend and get their way out of the cell. And that's really cool and creative. I love that. And so Katara, she's cool. She's a good character. She's a really, really good character, actually. I think she gets hated too much, so I'll give her some respect here and just throw her in the great category, like Katara.